Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold!
Hey, you really know how to spice things up. I cannot even believe it, Pat.
Hey,
I mean, let's see a shot here quickly. Let's see some of those muscles.
What? Hey, Arnold, we got it, huh? I don't have
Wow,
the...
look at that.
Huh?
Look at the biceps. Look at the deltoids. Holy moly, look at that back.
Yup, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yup,
Oh, yes.
thank you.
This is Mr. Universe material. Unbelievable.
Oh, shit. Hey, you got me jacked.
Unbelievable.
Hey, you got me a little sauced up right now, a little zeked up right now. That feels good. Let's talk about you. Obviously, we're done talking about my muscles. They're awesome. AJ, I think we're all gonna... I only smoke little tiny cigars. I do apologize for that. So we will definitely share a little smoke here together, all of us.
Why are you apologizing?
Well, because you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm not doing exactly what you're doing, although the muscles kind of getting into the same particular position as yours. You know, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, I feel like I'm looking in the mirror when I look at you.
Yes. Now, yeah, nonetheless, it's all the same. Let's go back in time a little bit. I watched your docu-series. It was on...
Netflix.
Netflix. Bro, hey, it was when my baby was born, first ever baby girl. So obviously you're up all night. And I'm just watching. You and me spent like a whole week together, and I was learning your story. I was getting so inspired, so pumped. Whenever you decided to come to America, obviously the goal was Mr. Olympia and Universe and everything like that. Could you have ever foreseen this? In this positive attitude, have you had this since birth? Has this kind of been the way you've been since it all kind of started for you?
Well, no, not as a kid, but I mean, I think that as soon as I had that vision, that dream of becoming the world's best built man, Mr. Universe, and all of that, and kind of chase the dream, and kind of like my idol, Reg Park, who was like they played Hercules in the movies, and Steve Reeves, those guys I idolized. So I just wanted to be like them. And so as soon as I had that dream, life changed for me. You know, I started going to the gym every single day. I started working out. I started eating well and didn't drink. I didn't smoke any of the cigarettes or nothing like that. I just was on this trajectory to become the champion. And so every single hour, every single rep I did was towards that goal. And so I had a lot of fun doing it, and I created kind of my own world. But I knew 100% that I'm going to get there, even though everyone else in Austria thought it was totally crazy. To have such a dream, because bodybuilding was not an Austrian sport. Skiing is, and soccer and those kind of sports, bicycle riding, but not bodybuilding. But, so I did it at the age of 20. I won Mr. Universe. And then I was invited to come over to America here. And then I continued winning. I won then 5 Mr. Universe titles, 7 Mr. Olympias, Mr. World, Mr. International. So altogether was like 13 World Bodybuilding Championships. Something that nobody ever has done before, and
I'd say.
And then I got into. I was very lucky that I had the same drive and that same vision to get me into movies, and so then the same thing happened then in the movie business.
Go ahead, AJ.
I'm curious how much motivation you gained from people telling you were crazy and that you can't do this, and every single thing you kind of check the box of. I feel like you're kind of motivated by everyone telling you, "Hey, you're nuts. This isn't going to work."
Well, I think we have to realize, and you guys can relate to that, you have to realize that if you have a big dream like that, and you say, I want to be the best football player, the best quarterback, with the best of this, that, or the best golfer, or the best bodybuilder, people are inevitably going to say, oh, yeah, sure. This guy is a little crazy. And so I think that the key thing is, as I say in my book, Be Useful, is we cannot go and get caught up with that. I just paid no attention to the naysayers, and I just continued on with my vision. And even though it's all hard work, I mean, but the vision is what propels you, what really motivates you, because this is why I always had fun working out in the gym. This is why I always had fun, on a movie set, because I saw the movie finished in front of my eyes. When we did Conan the Barbarian, and I had to crawl around on the rocks with no protection on my elbows and knees, and I was bleeding and all that stuff. Nothing mattered really, because I knew that when the movie comes out, it's going to be great. It's going to be great entertainment, and it's going to help my career internationally. And so, I was just an animal when it comes to that. There was just no mercy on myself. It was just work. And that's why I also talk about in the book, Be Useful, that you have to work your ass off. It's that simple. And you guys know that better than anyone, because, I mean, you guys train I mean, it's unbelievable.
Thank you.
The kind of stuff that you guys do now, because when I came over here, I started, hanging out a few times. I met, some of those football players that were then famous, and none of them trained with weights. That this was like a no-no in sports, right? If you touch weights, every coach said, you touch weights, you're going to go slow down, and you're going to go get muscle bound, and it's going to be terrible. You lose your flexibility and all that stuff. And so, guys did not do what you do today. Today, guys are lifting, more weights than power lifters. I see, guys coming into the gym and they're squatting with ease, 400, 500 pounds, but with ease weighing, 185, 200 pounds. So this is unheard of, this kind of lifts. And the bench press they're doing and the dumbbell lifts and all of that stuff. So, but it makes you a much more ferocious warrior out there on the field. And it's, of course, much more dangerous now, football, than it ever was before, because of this tremendous power that you guys have. So you're doing both. You're doing the cardiovascular training. You have the endurance. You have the flexibility. You have the speed. You have the explosive power. And then you have also the power of moving weights and therefore moving bodies on a football field. So I have become kind of a huge admirer of yours. And, there's one guy that was on just before me, Aaron. Aaron is, I've met now because he's doing physical therapy at my girlfriend's place, which you call the Achilles factory. And that place is packed with football players, with UFC fighters, and, with the basketball players and all that stuff. But Aaron is always there. He's the most entertaining. He just entertains everyone. Everyone is getting a kick out of him with his stories and with his, kind of positivity and all that. And here's a guy that is talking about, great shape. I mean, I don't know, how old is he now?
39.
39 years old. And he's still one of the best players out there. It's like amazing to watch him, how good he is. And so that is extraordinary. So I've become a big fan of his also, because he's funny. He's a great sense of humor. He's not just a football player. He has a very clear vision where he wants to go after this is all over and all this. It's fun talking to him and, and hanging out with him, because he's a real inspirational kind of a guy.
Hell yeah. And so are you, pal. I would like to let you know. And what he's doing with his Achilles at your girlfriend's place at the Achilles factory is going to be something that people are going to study forever, just like I think this book is going to be useful, right? And I'm reading a little excerpt here. It says, and it kind of ties in everything you just said there. And you sound like... you said, when I had the dream, that's when it all changed for you. When I had the dream, TV, the same thing, and then you get a little bit seemingly obsessive with it, and you do everything you possibly can to make it happen. You work your ass off. You said, if be useful sounds relentlessly positive, it is. It is an answer to the pessimism, disconnection, and loss of purpose Arnold saw building over the past few years, especially among young people. You just talked about how sports and athletes and bodies are better than they've ever been, but it does feel like there is a lack of motivation for some portions of society. Why do you think that is? And do you think that's fixable? Do you think we're going to get to an era of humans that are maybe the hardest working era of humans ever again?
Well, I think that, we have gone into a generation of people that are kind of trying to find the easy way out. And, they think that everyone can become rich, being a high-tech expert and stuff like that. But it's not that easy. The thing that today still is true, as it always was, is that you have to work your ass off, and you can do all the high tech you want, but still, I mean, Ted Turner once said, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise. And I'm a big believer in that. You have to work your ass off. Everything that I've ever done, if it was being involved in bodybuilding, being involved in show business, in movies, I mean, being for 6 months sometimes on a set, doing a movie, and then you go and you finish there and you go to another movie right after that. You work sometimes nights. When you work with Jim Cameron, when he directed Terminator 2, I remember we worked 87 days at nights. And it's grueling doing the action and doing the stunts, and you get injuries and all that kind of stuff. I inspire people to go and work your ass off and not to be afraid of failure, because so many people are kind of shy of failure. They're afraid of it. and they don't want to then do anything big because they don't want to fail really big. And I always tell them, don't be afraid of failure. Just go all out and just have a specific goal in mind and then go after that relentlessly. And it needs hard work. So everything I've ever done, even in a governor's office, I mean, you're there from 9 a.m. on in that office. And you sit there till 6 o'clock at night, and then you have to go to fundraisers, and you have to go and communicate with the people out there to make sure that the people are coming with you and follow you, because it's one thing to pass laws, but it's another thing to make people understand the laws that you pass. And when you, for instance, say, we want to reduce pollution by 25%, well, that you want to make sure that the California people then know the reason why we're doing is because there's 7 million people that die every year of pollution. So we can do better than that. So let's get rid of pollution. Let's get rid of fossil fuels. There's no reason why people have to die of cancer because of all of that stuff. So it was like work the whole time, and be positive and having that clear vision. And so those are the rules that I talk about in the book. And in the book I wrote basically just to make people more successful, to make them happier, and because so many people are down. 78% of the people in America hate their jobs. I mean, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's
How
not
can
good.
you go and hate your job and then go to work every day for years and years and years? No wonder people are looking forward to retiring. And I said to myself, what is that all about, retiring? I mean, it's like, hell, you got to go and just continue on until when you're 6 feet under. That's when you can retire. That's when you can, lie back a little bit and just relax. But not while we are on this side of the grass. This is all like conquering, achieving, working hard, and living rather than existing.
Hell yes. By the way, I love that all you're talking about is work ethic. Like, that is the trait, I think, that I hope my daughter has. I hope, very lucky that it was something passed down from my father and my mother. I love that that's your entire message. I hope more people will read Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life by Arnold Schwarzenegger, available now. And you say you work hard at everything. Remember when he was a salesman and his neighbor was trying to have sex with his wife?
Oh, yeah.
And you know what you did? You got that Turbo Man. Did you? End of the day, you got Turbo Man.
Hell yeah.
That asshole neighbor was trying to, he's always at work. Oh, he's working, taking advantage of that. Rest in peace, obviously. But you got Turbo Man at the end of the day. You can work hard and still be a great human. I think you've proved that time and time again, especially around the holidays.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. One of the things I talk about in the book is that it is absolutely essential if you want to be successful to give something back to your community, because not everyone is as fortunate as we are, where we make money and where we do the kind of stuff that we wanted to do. So people are falling through the cracks a lot of time. I was, like, for instance, yesterday out in East LA at the Hollenbeck Center, handing out turkey, hundreds of turkeys to people that can't afford.
Hey, let's go, Governor. That's our governor. Hell yeah. You're a good dude, man. You could be on a beach smoking cigars all day, every day.
Yeah.
The amount of money you've made, everything you've accomplished. When's retirement? Dead. I'm giving out turkeys tomorrow. I appreciate the hell out of you. The boys got a bunch of questions for you, Arnold. Ty, go ahead, pal.
Yeah, Arnold, I'm sure when people talk to you, they always mention Commando and Predator and Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and I agree because I've seen those countless amount of times. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for making Twins and Kindergarten Cop, because I think I've seen.
Thank you.
I saw both
Thank
those
you, Arnold.
thousands of times growing up. But I'm just curious, like, when your film career first started, at what point did you realize, like, hey, listen, everything I touch turns to fucking gold. So it doesn't really matter what the script says or what this movie is about. If I'm in it, this thing is going to open up at #1 on the box office when it comes out that weekend. And then also, at what point did you decide, like, hey, the action stuff, I've kind of cornered that market. I want to move to, some of these more comedic roles like Twins and Kindergarten Cop?
Well, it's a good question. I think that when I did Conan the Barbarian, which was kind of the first international movie that I did, Universal Studios wanted to send me to like 3-4 countries to promote the movie. And I said, no, look, this is my chance to really promote myself from bodybuilding to an actor. And so I want to go to 10 countries. So then they mapped out a whole strategy to go to 10 countries and to promote the film. And I could really see the response internationally. And I could see that I was breaking through. And that was the moment where I felt was a breakthrough for me. And from then on, I got, Terminator offers and Commando and Predator and Red Heat and Running Man and all of those kind of movies. So that was really the big breakthrough with the action movies. But you're absolutely right. I was kind of like saying to myself, well, there's something funny about me also. I have a good sense of humor. I want to do also comedies. But it was very hard to break into comedies because the studio said, look, we're making all this money now with you as an action hero, so why would we give you a comedy? And then Ivan Reitman, the director of Ghostbusters, who just came out with Ghostbusters, I remember, he said to me, I develop a project with you, I direct you. And so from that point on, when he didn't develop Twins, and Twins became my biggest grossing movie ever, that's when all of a sudden I started getting offers also for comedies. I did then Kindergarten Cop and Junior and True Lies with Jim Cameron, with Jamie Lee Curtis, which was really a fantastic experience. So this is when I broke through and I knew, okay, I have that corner, that kind of thing mastered too. So there were moments like that were breakthrough moments. But I have to say that everything was a struggle. Everything had, its failures in there. I opened up movies that went in the toilet, that didn't open up.
We don't believe that.
Yes. I mean, yeah. And something you have to just learn from that. And you have to say, the story maybe wasn't good enough. We have to pay more attention to the story. And, because what is not on a page is not on a stage. It's the old saying in Hollywood. And so I had to realize that. And so in bodybuilding, I had my failures. I lost competitions. In powerlifting, I lost competitions. Politically, after I won the governorship, there was an election later on where I had some initiatives on the ballot and they all lost. So I had my losses, but it doesn't matter because when you lose, you're not a loser. The loser always stays down. I always got up. I dusted myself off and I said, okay, I'm going to get back and I'm going to go and try it again and try it again and try it again. In my bench press, when I was trying 500 pounds, I tried it 10 times and it failed. But the 11th time I did it. So you never give up. It's that simple.
Hey, life will teach you a lot on the bottom of 500 pounds, too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Life will teach you a lot down there, those 10 failures. Let's get to the 11th. Do you talk to The Rock ever? It feels like The Rock is now this generation's action star. He's had a couple that have gone not so great, but then obviously that have gone very well. Do you two just chit-chat about being the biggest action stars on earth?
Well, The Rock is someone that I have admired for many, many years. I thought that he handled his career really well. I think that he's just one of those multi-talented guys that has a great personality. He's a great athlete, a great wrestler. He can do, big stunts on a set, and he's very familiar with that and the fight scenes and all that stuff. So I think that his personality comes through. His, great command of the scenes is coming through. He's very, very talented all around. I mean, I think the world of him. I think he's really fantastic.
Go ahead, AJ.
You mentioned Jim Cameron a few times in True Lies, Terminator 2. Can you, he seems like a guy that is not scared to take a big chance and taking a big swing at things. We see what he's doing with Avatar right now. What was it like working with him on set day to day?
Well, he's a genius. He just writes. I've never met anybody, to be honest with you, that is so multi-talented because that guy does, he knows, he comes from the background of set decorating. And so he knows how to decorate the set, how to light the set. He knows everything about the cameras. He knows everything about everything. I mean, it's like technically he's so superior. His writing skills are so superior. His directing skills are superior. He can do comedy. He can do action. He can do anything. It's just amazing how smart the guy is and what a great vision he has. He's a visionary. He sees everything in front of him. I mean, that's how he writes. He sees the movie in front of him, and then he goes to write and direct. So I wish I could do many more movies with him because he's just so talented. And when you go,
you still acting? Yeah, we still doing that?
Say again?
You still acting?
Yeah. We are doing this coming spring, the second season of Fubar, which is the TV series that was very, very popular on Netflix. And it went through the roof. So it was kind of like a takeoff of True Lies. It was a kind of like action and comedy at the same time with a great cast there. And Netflix did a fantastic job in promoting the TV show. So now we have a second season. So we're shooting that. It would take around 4.5 months to film that in Toronto. and then we're gonna go and put that out on air again. And so, yeah, I'm gonna and then I'm gonna do another film with Danny DeVito, which he has been working on a script and writing right now with his writers. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I do everything. I do policy. You know, at the Schwarzenegger Institute, where we deal with policy at USC, the policy like healthcare, immigration reform, homeless issues, water issues here in California, and all of the education issues, after school programs.
That sounds fun.
Kind of thing.
That sounds like a blast, Arnold. That one sounds real fun.
Well, you know, I learned when I was there as governor, you know, that you can make a difference, and you just have to figure out how to craft the policy, how do you talk and communicate to the people, bring them along, and you know, so it's fun to do. So, you know, when I finished my governorship, I didn't clock out. You know, this is that most of the politicians do that. They clock out. You never hear from them again. But I think this is like, you know, it's terrible, because what kind of a message is that if you have committed yourself to be a public servant? How do you go and all of a sudden discontinue being a public servant? So to me, it's a continuation of follow through, like in sports. Everything is about follow through, you know, and so this is what this is. So I want to continue being involved in policy and make this a better world. That's what my fourth act, people always ask me, what is the fourth act? I say my fourth act is about using my talents from bodybuilding, from show business, from governorship, and use all those talents, put it together, and make it a better world. And so that's why I wrote the motivational book. That's why I hold motivational speeches. And that's why I continue on with my show business and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I want to be involved and bring all of those talents together.
Hell yeah. Every once in a while, you know, when you dabble into act 2 with the acting, and then you're still properly jocked, and then you put Danny DeVito back on it. Oh, buddy, you're making the world a better place then too, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good news. I think there's a lot of greatness coming from it. You should be incredibly proud. Done good out of Austria. Nick has a question for you in the back. Massive fan.
Arnold, I watched your documentary, and there was a piece that really fascinated me. You talked about the SCHMÄH. I hope I'm saying it right, but I believe you explained the term in the documentary. I was wondering if you talked about it in your book, and if you could tell all these guys and everybody watching how the SCHMÄH kind of helped you throughout your life.
Well, it's kind of like really communicating well and to find a way of bringing a little oomph to the reality. You know, instead of doing a boring speech, you know, it's always good to kind of like throw in some good humor and to spice it up a little bit. And that's what we call the Austrian SCHMÄH. You know, a lot of times they call it the bullshit in America. But I mean, that's what it is. It's kind of like spicing it up. I was always a believer to kind of make it interesting. So when you speak to students at a commencement speech, you want them to walk away and not say, oh, this was just another speech. They want to say, that was really cool. I mean, he had some really funny lines in there. He was really funny and all this stuff. So that's the SCHMÄH.
Okay. Hey, I love it. Yeah. Love the SCHMÄH. We're about the SCHMÄH all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much all we got.
No, that's why I love. That's why I love being on this show. Because are you kidding me? I was waiting for a long time now to be on this show, because you guys have you have the magic down. I mean, you have so much fun, and you're over the top, and your personalities come out. You know, and people are not used to this from football players, because they think that they're great on a football field. But I mean, here you are. I mean, you have all these other talents.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, what you just said is a big deal. I want to let you know why, because we just so happened to be in the same hotel that you were eating brunch at one morning.
Man.
And you walked in, and I was up in my room, and the boys were at the restaurant, and there was 45 texts in a group text. Heads up, heads up. Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger is here. That is the reaction that your name gets from our group. So you saying nice things about us is sweet, but felt like there's a little SCHMÄH in there too. You know what I mean? Felt like there was a little bit.
Always and everything to SCHMÄH.
Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Arnold. Something that maybe didn't have that much SCHMÄH, if you will, is when you had to drive a tank in for your military time in Austria. And I believe, as the story goes, you tell it in the documentary, is that you actually kind of just said, hey, fuck it, I have to go to this weightlifting competition. Was there any fallout from that? Because I assume if you were told you couldn't go by, you know, a high-ranking officer and then you still go, there's probably a problem. But was that one of the most important decisions, if you will, you know, deciding to kind of break the rules a little bit and going and doing that competition that really kind of kick-started everything for you?
Well, I did not at that time look at it as an important decision. I just registered, to compete in that competition on October 31st in Stuttgart, Germany. And in the meantime, I was drafted to go to the military. So I was in the middle of basic training when this happened. And so I went to the office and I said, hey, I want to go to this competition. And they said, no, you're in basic training and no one can leave the base when you're in basic training. So I said to myself, oh, fuck, I don't give a shit. I'm going to go anyway. And so I just went, knowing that when I come back, the punishment will be severe and they would throw me in jail and they would be peeling potatoes in the kitchen all night long, every night, and all that kind of stuff. But so what? I mean, that to me, that didn't scare me. I did not give a shit about anything other than that I have to win this competition. And this is it. This is what I was training for. And I was training in the military, even doing this basic training, which was like hard as hell. But I was training and training and training, doing my weightlifting and my whole thing. I went out to Stuttgart and I won the fucking competition. I just, there was guys from all over Europe competing. And so this was you were earlier asking the question, what was the deciding moment where I said, this is all working and I'm in the right direction? This was the moment, because now when I won the European Championships with the age of 18, the junior championships, then I knew I was on the right track, because I knew that a year later, after the military was over, I would come back and win the regular Mr. Europe competition and Best Built Man of Europe. And this is exactly what happened. A year later, I won Mr. Europe, and the Best Built Man of Europe went to the Mr. Universe contest with the age of 19, came second in the Mr. Universe. The following year, I went back to the Mr. Universe, won. So to me, that was a deciding thing. But when I came back to the military, they did not know what to do. I came back with the fucking trophy. I came back with the trophy. So they said, well, should we now punish him for being a winner? Or should we punish him because he left without permission? So they didn't know what to do. So they put me in jail for one night, and then they let me out. And then the next day they celebrated with me, and they were all drinking, they were all drunk, and they're drinking champagne and celebrating with me this great, great victory. So it really ended up fantastic, because the Austrian military, you should know, they are 100% behind, athletic activities. When someone wants to train for soccer or skiing or this, that, they give you the time off to do that. And they always gave me plenty of time throughout my time to, in the afternoon, when everyone have to wash their tanks and oil the tanks and grease it and do all that stuff. I went into the gym. I went in the lifted weights for hours and hours in the afternoon. I did my tank driving in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the other guys washed my tank, and I was like out there working out like hell.
Very nice of them to wash the tank. Was that the first time you're on the record as saying, like, I'll be back with the trophy? Like, is that the first time you were on record of saying that, you think? Maybe that was maybe a little foreshadowing?
The most amazing thing is that the first time I said I'll be back was on Terminator, because I hated the way it said I'll. As a German, we don't have this, right? This I'll. So I kept saying to Jim Cameron, I said, Jim, why don't I'm a machine. I should say, I will be back. And he says, no, I wrote, I'll be back. And I said, but it's better if I say, I will be back. And he says, Arnold, I don't tell you how to fucking act, and so don't tell me how to write. I wrote, I'll be back. He says, let's just do 10 takes of I'll be back, and then we pick the favorite one. If you're worried about it sounds bad, I think it sounds great the way you say it, so let's just do it. And so we did it, and no one knew at that time this was a special line, because then when the movie came out, all these people started running up to me and say, Arnold, say this line, I'll be back. And I said, I'll be back. And they said, no, the way you said it in the movie. So I said, oh, okay, I'll be back. And then they say, yeah, that was it. Oh, this is fantastic. So we realized all of a sudden that we had a magic line there. So all of the lines that you see from the movies, like, get to the chopper, this is like, we did not know this is going to be a line that people will repeat. Now everywhere I go, to the gym or right on a street with the bicycle, people are screaming at me, get to the chopper, put that cookie down. All this kind of dialogue.
Yes, we love. Hey, that was amazing. Hey, you knew exactly what we were looking for. You knew exactly what we were looking for right there. Here we are 30 years later. Yeah, play the hits. Still got it. I appreciate that you haven't.
It's the SCHMÄH. It's the SCHMÄH.
It is the SCHMÄH. That's the SCHMÄH. I appreciate that you haven't gotten jaded by it, though. Some people get jaded by that type of shit.
No. To me, none of this matters. To me, the only thing that counts to me is to do exactly what I want to do, to chase my goals. And I don't feel any special. I never felt unique. Oh, Arnold, you're great and all that stuff. This is all bogus. I can look in the mirror and just say I look like shit. And, I'm never really satisfied with any of the things that I do. I'm always hungry for better and for more. And I think that's what drives me. This is what makes me kind of motivated and excited. So when I get up in the morning, there's always a purpose there. I always say the first thing I do is feed my animals, my miniature donkey and my Lulu and Whiskey, my pony. And then I have the pig, Schnelli, and then I have the 3 dogs. And then I go on the bike and I go to the gym and I work out. So I'm always on a mission. There's always a purpose there, and the work and all that stuff. So it makes life fun.
Yeah, and I think that's why you should potentially,
bingo.
You heard what he just said.
Right.
It's all shit. I'm not special, okay? We're just working. We're on a mission. We're dreaming here. There's a lot of that in the book. Darius has a question for you.
A couple of things that are special. Pat mentioned it earlier. Your work ethic, your optimism. Like, where did that come from? Like, where did that come from early in your life, going from the top of the world in show business, powerlifting, politics? Like, where did that come from? And I can't let this moment pass without asking you, what are your PRs and your lifts? Like, your bench, I need to know. What's the most you put up on the bar?
Ever?
And right now.
Well, first of all, I think that when you have a dream and you're chasing the dream, that makes you automatically work hard. Because in order to get there, you have to work hard. So to me, working was never really a problem at all. When I was in the military, I looked forward to getting up in the morning and to running around and doing the basic training and to drive the tanks and do all the stuff that is to be done there. When I came to America, I was, Mr. Universe. But there was no money in bodybuilding like in football. If people would know what I saw, they will be just shocked, because those are the sweetest guys. I remember that I had surgery just before I went on Expendables 2. And I went to the set and I told the guys, I said, look, I will not be able to run around or do the things that I want to do. So I need a lot of help here, because they didn't want to postpone the shooting and all that stuff. And I tell you, those guys, all of them, they jumped into action. Bruce Willis was running there to put a pad down. So when I run over to this desk and have to kneel down, fall on my knees, that I have a padded landing. This is the kind of stuff that I saw there. I tell you, those ballsy guys, the toughest guys in the world, were there. And they were so kind and so sweet and so helpful. I would never, ever forget that. So to me, I think the world of these guys. And, they're great, great entertainers. They're multi-talented. Some of them are UFC fighters and football players. And some are from the boxing background and this and that. And just really, really terrific guys. And it was a great pleasure for me to do this work with those guys and Expendables, and we had a fantastic time together.
You think we need about 10 more of those? You know what I mean? Just as a whole, 10 more of those, no problem at all. Feels like you got enough time to figure that one out in your day. Before we get out of here, I have to mention, we're just now learning about the Arnold's Pump Club, which is, I believe, a newsletter, a daily email that's just going to motivate the hell out of you. Yup. If it's anything like this conversation we just had, yup. Is that showing up in my email every morning? Yup. Am I becoming Arnold Schwarzenegger because of this thing? Yep. Maybe. Is that what the newsletter is? Is that what we're popping off in the email?
The newsletter will not make you another Arnold Schwarzenegger. The newsletter will make you inspired to work out every day, to work on yourself, to improve yourself. It is the positive corner on the internet, because there's so much negativity out there all the time. People talk about hating each other because they're from different parties and different races and this and that. And I am so much against all that. I'm about inclusion and bringing people together. And I want them to be happy. I want them to be successful. And this is what this does. It pumps you up. That's why it's called the pump corner. It's like it pumps you up.
Hell yeah.
Well, I can't wait to get pumped the fuck up. You're the man, dude. I really appreciate you. I can't wait to see how many people continue to read this book and how a generation can maybe be inspired by a man that took a shot on betting on himself and with an obsessive work ethic has become one of the most influential humans to ever exist. I appreciate the hell out of you. What's the rest of the day look like? What do we got the rest of the day?
Well, I'm now going to go on my bike ride, and I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to have lunch with my son, with Patrick, and then I will continue doing my businesses.
I heard you just got done playing a game of chess, beat the shit out of somebody. That's what I heard. I heard we put him in
yeah, exactly. Don't say it too loud because he's sitting right next to me.
Hey, watch out for that closed Sicilian, okay? Especially when Arnold's working his shit. The SCHMÄH is at an all-time high. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, the legend, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey, Arnold.